Well, welcome YouTube friends and family. What on earth am I doing with all these sweets and treats since I can't eat refined sugar? Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out what Christmas treat I have in store for you today. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, good morning again. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you to all my returning. If you somehow happened on this video because you're searching for some Christmas treats, my name is Kim. I hope you'll consider subscribing and stick around. We have a great group here. So I indeed have all of the goodies, right? So I've got lots of chocolate chips, some butterscotch chips, some caramel, some white, some melting chocolate. What am I going to do with this since I have chosen not to eat it based on not wanting to be a insulin-dependent diabetic, right? So at first, y'all, and I'm going to totally be honest with you, I was pretty sad. I thought, you know, this was one of my great joys. We all have a love language, how we minister to others, how we show others our love and appreciation. And one of my big parts of my love language is feeding people and treating people. So I thought, well, I can't make it because I can't eat it. Well, guess what, guys? I can still make it. I just don't have to eat it, right? So this is actually going to be a two-parter. So if you're not into the candies, the cookies are coming. What I will say is I'm going to be trying some diabetes-friendly cookies, and that will be in an upcoming video. But for today, I thought that I would make some of my old tried and true favorites and start packaging them up to deliver to the neighbors. I like to get my gifts out a little bit early when it's something to eat, so that if they planned like a cookie buffet, you know, for Christmas, or a candy and goodie buffet, it doesn't interrupt that. It gets them all revved up for all the sugary treats to come. And also, if they're going to have a get-together, a friend's Christmas or something like that, they could actually share the treats on their appetizer type table and make good use of it if they don't want to eat it all. So what I did, guys, is I went into my long-term pantry. Now, you may wonder, why do I have so much? Well, because I'm a big believer in being prepared and stocking up. So anytime I would see something on sale at a good price, I was picking it up. And I didn't know, my crystal ball was broken. I didn't know that I wouldn't be partaking of any of these, but it really doesn't change what I do. I just won't be eating it. I will be gifting it. I also gathered up lots of dried nuts and dried fruit. And I've got some butter out. I have my sugar jars filled because we're eating some sugar. But what I realized is I was short a few things. So as I was stocking up, I really wasn't stocking up by recipe. So it's chilly this morning. Let's get our coats on. I don't wear coats, guys. Let's get our sweaters. And I'm gonna head to Walmart, and I have about half a dozen things I need to pick up. So I'm gonna do that this morning. So come along with me. Let's see what Walmart has and if they also have some good gifting platters or tins. I hope you'll stay tuned. I'm gonna try to talk over the music here. So much like Target, Walmart has started this dollar stop, and they have all kinds of cute things. Glasses, little houses, Christmas cards, gift bags, cute little cookie cutters, and dish towels for the holidays. I usually buzz through here in case I see something for someone else, but I generally don't buy anything for myself. Oh, that's cute, the gingerbread little bucket. I'm nervous about making candy. Walmart does have some digital type thermometers. I think that would be very helpful. I already have a couple options for candy thermometers. They have an instant read for $11.44, but they're kitchen gadgetry aisle is pretty deep this time of the year, so it's always worth a look. Well, we're back from Walmart, and I've washed my hands very well. I've disinfected all my countertops. The cat is taking a nap, so hopefully that won't be an issue. So anytime I'm preparing food for others, I try to be, you know, extra careful. And my hair's up, if I didn't say that. Kim, your hair's always up. Anyway, Walmart trip was a success. So what can I say about Walmart stock? Oh my word, y'all. I have never seen Walmart so well stocked in my area. And there, well, you know, I was there at like 7:30, but there weren't a lot of people in there. But the shelves are filled to bursting. So I had no problem finding the few little supplies that I don't keep on hand, that I hadn't decided, you know, which recipes I'm going to make. So anyway, we're going to start out with something really, really simple. So what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need a tray, like a cookie tray with sides. I am going to use a Silpat because that works really well for me. This is just the Amazon Basic brand. And guys, so I don't have to keep saying this, anything I can link, I will link below if you have interest. All right. So I like to start with easy things. I like to get a couple successes under my belt, and then I feel a lot more confident as I start on the harder ones. So the first thing I am going to make is a peppermint bark, and it's super simple, guys. You can use any type of chocolate chip that you like. I personally like for this application, I like the semi-sweet. So, and I do like, brand snob, the name brand for this application because pretty much all you're going to be tasting is the chocolate quality. For the second ingredient, you need some Ghirardelli or a brand of your choice, white chocolate. Now, I have some Walmart white baking chips, and I think that's fine for coating pretzels. But for something where the primary taste is going to be chocolate, I like to splurge. Guys, this was like $3.28. I was like, wait, what? I came out of Walmart and I'm like, $83 later. But guys, in fairness, I bought some stocking stuffers. I did a few things. All right. The next thing you're going to need is either candy canes or these little round peppermints, often called Starlight Mints. I've just placed these into a silicone bag. I am going to use my beloved Mammy's rolling pin, and I'm going to crush that up. And then the final thing that you will need, wait for it, and you don't need a lot, is some peppermint extract. And you don't need a lot. Too much peppermint extract, and it tastes terrible. Like there's a teaspoon in the whole thing. So you can do this over a double boiler, but what we're going to do first is we're going to melt our semi-sweet chocolate chips in the microwave. I'll be stirring about every 30 seconds. Once it's liquid enough, I'll continue to stir till all the lumps are out, and then I'll bring you back. I did fail to mention, a lot of times if you add like a teaspoon-ish of coconut oil to your chocolate, whether it's white or dark chocolate, it helps it to smooth easier. So I'm just doing that. There's my spatula. And we'll continue to melt. Our chocolate is melted. I am not gonna go, oh, maybe I'm not gonna get that open. Yes, I am. I'm not gonna go by, wow, that is minty, the recipes that I see to add a teaspoon. I'm gonna add a half, I think, to each type chocolate. Now, I don't wanna be on a sugar high by the end of the day, but I am gonna have to do some tasting. It's just the way it goes, right? So get that mixed in really, really well, because you don't want a bite. I have a lot of tasting spoons here. So I'm just gonna take a little taste. I think it can take the whole teaspoon. I'll put it in the top. I just don't want it to be overpowering. If you have ever over minted something, I mean, it's inedible in my book. So let's scrape this out, and it, depending on the temperature of your house, and I'm sure you can hear my heat cut on because it's like in the 30s here, you gotta work, you know, kind of quick. So what I'm gonna try to do is spread this into an even layer, at least so that the thickness is relatively the same. It doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. It's a treat. We're gonna eat it. Well, not we. It will be eaten. You know, y'all, I remember my mom and my Aunt Susie, who's still living, but I remember all of the cooking and baking that they did at the holidays. It was so much fun. I have always been a person who enjoyed cooking, baking, whatsoever. I mean, I just really enjoy it. So I do miss it, but what I'm trying to do here is continue the tradition with some new recipes. Not the same as Mom made. Okay, that sticks up too much. But some will be the same, you know, and just, oh, I've already gotten something on myself. And just enjoy the holidays. It isn't the same. It's never gonna be the same, but that's okay because new traditions are coming. All right, I'm gonna stick this into the quick chiller of my Philco refrigerator, my 1951 Philco. I always have to brag on that. I'm gonna let this set up, and while it sets up, we'll start working on the white chocolate and getting that melted and the extract added to that as well. So stay tuned. Chilled and melted. Y'all, I did do another taste test of the chocolate in relation to, whoa, well, my floor will smell minty fresh, in relation to the amount of peppermint and a couple extra drops. I can definitely taste it. I don't think I took a big enough taste the first time, and I just don't want it overly minty. So I'm gonna tell you, whew, that smells minty, that the recipe says add a teaspoon to each layer or each bag. I honestly think half, maybe 3/4 is a little better. But you do it to your taste and what you like. If you want a very minty flavor, you can add a little more. I wouldn't go over a teaspoon for each type of chocolate. All right, get this cleaned. And then somewhere in here, need to find it quickly, or not. One of those spreader thingy-mabobbers. I should have been more prepared. Oh well. Let's just use a butter knife. And you just want to spread it evenly. And as you see, sometimes you will get a little bit of the dark chocolate melting because the white chocolate is hot. That's okay, guys. You could make it deliberately swirled if you wanted to. I can usually cover it most of the way up. I think the best way to avoid that is just to let your chocolate set a minute. But I hate battling with spreading chocolate because once you put it on the first layer, you can't exactly take it off. So let's try to cover that up a little better. Oh, I'm making it worse. Okay, well, we're just gonna have some swirls in that. That's okay. That's totally fine. Get as close to the edge so that everybody gets a bite of both. Now, I didn't mention you can use candy canes. I hate unwrapping all the plastic. It's so hard to get them apart. So I chose to use Starlight Mints. That's also what I had on hand. Okay, I'm making this worse. Knock it off, Kym. But those Starlight Mints were so hard, I had to take them out in the garage and use a hammer on them. Oh, goodness. And then you just want to sprinkle your top with the little pieces of peppermint So festive looking, isn't it? If you don't care for peppermint candy, or, you know, that's not the look you're going for. The other thing that you can do, some of it's finer than others, is you can put sprinkles, you can put nuts. But this is supposed to be a minty flavor, but you could change up your flavoring that you use. And instead of using mint, maybe just add a little vanilla, or, you know, whatever is your fancy, right? I don't want to get too crazy, but I do like the real fine ones. And see, you can't even tell that I goofed up the chocolate candy. That's pretty hard to do. It's about the simplest recipe on the universe, Kym. All right, a little bit more. And we're going to go back in. Well, I don't want to waste this. We're going to go back into the refrigerator just to let it fully chill. And then you can either cut or break it into pieces, however suits your fancy. I kind of like just the irregular pieces. But there you have it. Our first treat is made. And how simple was that? So let me regroup here, put some things away, wash up some dishes, and we'll decide what we're going to do for treat number 2. All right, are you ready for treat number 2? This is super simple, and I think it also carries over to a little bit of a healthier treat, so to speak. So I am going to be using, again, Nestle's semi-sweet morsels. You could use sugar-free chocolate to make this more diabetes friendly. I have never tried that. So I did want to take a look here. A tablespoon of chocolate chips has 8 grams of total sugar, 9 grams of carbs. So maybe a taste, right? So what goes really well with a chocolate treat? Well, dried fruits are an excellent choice. So I have here, if you remember, currants from making our energy butter. I thought I would use some of those. I have some dried cranberries for tartness. I have some home Cortland apples that I freeze dried. I have some pecans. I have some walnuts. I do have almonds. I'm not going to use almonds in this because we are going to make another dish with almonds. So really, you could use anything you want. All I'm going to do is melt the chocolate, add the goodies, spread it out in a pan, and we'll break it up much like the peppermint brittle. So that will have our second treat under our belt. So let me get busy here, and I'll bring you back when I have it all mixed together, kind of show you how I'm gonna do it. All right, I forgot the most important thing. One of the things that you can do to make this really different is you can add some orange extract. So have y'all ever had, and I'm not a chocolate fan, let me just share that. Sounds like I am with all this chocolate, but I know a lot of other people that are. If you've ever had a chocolate orange, so it's chocolate, but it's in the shape of an orange. When you pull the paper off, it comes off in sections. Yeah, so that's what this puts me in the mind of, the smell anyway. So I'm going to do some freeze-dried apples. I'm going to do pecans. I'm going to do some currant. And you can see that exact measurement's really important. You'll just, you know, whatever floats your boat. And I do want quite a few cranberries in there because I think it adds the tartness, and orange and cranberry is so good together, right? So you might have got a little carried away there, Kym. No, I think this is going to be just perfect. Perfect amount of stuff. If you want to fancy it up, you could put some, decorate the top, which I may do with some additional dried nuts, dried fruits. Wow, that just got thick on me really quick. Perhaps it's because it's cold in here. I don't know. So yeah, let's try to get more of that out. grab the spatula. Now that I've put orange extract in this, I'm probably going to have to, you know, really wash it out because I don't want any subsequent chocolate tasting like orange. So this is not as easy to spread. It's going to produce, you could use like a melon baller or a cookie scoop, and you could scoop it out into little bite-sized things, or you can do what I'm doing and just kind of mush it together on a cookie tray. So this is substantially smaller because of all the ingredients. So we'll want to cut this into some pretty tiny pieces for sampling purposes. So I'm just going to put on some additional walnuts. So that's going to be delightful. I mean, this is not a dessert that I think you see a lot of. Maybe just a few cranberries. I put quite a few in there, so I don't want to get too crazy with it. And you know what? I don't know about the texture of that on top, the freeze-dried apples, because they are crunchy. We'll just use a few currants. And we'll put this in to solidify, and then we'll cut this into little tiny, like 1-inch cubes. And I think this will be a very appreciated treat. All right, y'all, we're moving from easiest to a little more time, but none of these are terribly hard in my opinion. So this is a recipe I'm sure you've all made. I did not discover it until last year, and I was like, where have you been? Christmas cracker is what I'm going to call it, because it's often called Christmas crack. I just don't like that connotation. Super simple to do, just requires a few steps. So you'll notice on my parchment lined baking tray, you could use a Silpat. I'm out of Silpats. I have placed one sleeve of just plain Great Value brand saltine crackers, because honestly, guys, I've tried it with name brand and I've tried it with Great Value, and I can't tell the difference. I do have one suggestion that might make it a little different for you. So we have a lot of salt taste buds on our tongue. So I like to put the salt side of the cracker down. I know, nothing, you know, earth-shattering, but I think it does make a difference in the taste. So don't get dizzy now. I'm gonna swing you over here to our oven, and we are going to preheat our oven to 400. Guys, sometimes if my hands are cold, oh, sorry, you didn't need to see my back. My oven's a little difficult to turn on. So, in my mother's candy making saucepan, so you just want a heavy saucepan, I have 2 sticks of salted butter. You could use unsalted if you're watching your salt, because there is salt in the crackers. I love the sweet and salty together, and while it's not for me, I think it makes a better product. And to that, I have added 1 cup of brown sugar. So we've got just a big blob in here. You do have to kind of pay attention to this because you don't want it to burn, and it can burn. So that's why the heavy bottom pan. Okay, well, let's try this hand. If one hand doesn't work, try the other. All right, there we go. Just kind of chunk it up a little bit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this up to a boil. I'm going to boil it carefully for 3 minutes. And then we're gonna pour it over our saltine crackers, and I will bring you back. Y'all, I'm so sorry. Me and my hiccups. I really apologize, guys. It's a side effect of that medicine. But I will say, guys, I am doing much better, in case you can't tell. I know I'm a little pale. I'm a fair-skinned person, and I get pale in the winter. Y'all didn't know I had a tan in the summer, but I did. I had a pretty good tan for me. But at any rate, yes, I am definitely doing better. One of the things that they kept telling me, nurses are the worst, was that I needed to eat a small amount of protein every 4 hours and that would really help. Well, if you're nauseated, the last thing you want to do is eat more often, right? But I thought, okay, well, maybe there's something to it, right? It has helped. And it doesn't have to be like a meal. And being calorie restricted as part of this, I was like, you know, I don't want to waste my calories on a snack I don't want, right? But even something like a couple spoons of yogurt or 2 crackers with a little tiny piece of cheese. I'm not a big meat eater, guys. You could do a hard-boiled egg, you know, there's a lot, cottage cheese, hummus. So there are options, and that has helped me tremendously. So if you are on one of the newer diabetes drugs, the Ozempic, the Trulicity, I can't think of any of the other ones, but at any rate, you might consider that as a solution if you're struggling with, wow, that got too hot. It's not burned, it's just got pretty hot. If you're struggling with nausea. All right, let me get this done, and at the 3-minute mark, I'll bring you back. Y'all be very, very careful. This hot sugar is like molten lava. And if you get it on your skin, it really can burn. So my suggestion is try to just get it emptied out as quickly and as safely as you can. If you get any of that sugar on your skin, you are going to want to hit the cold water immediately. All right. Now just take your spoon or spatula, whatever you happen to have, and you want to spread that caramel evenly over all of your sleeve of crackers. And it does set up fairly quickly. I kept my heat on, like on a scale of 1 to 10, 6 to 7. You definitely don't want to burn this. I stirred the entire time. I think it's just my timer, guys, sorry. I think it makes a better product. So let's get this all to the edges. And this is gonna melt and ooze when we go to the oven, because that's what we're gonna do next. So this particular recipe that I'm using is from allrecipes.com. I can link it for you. It says cook this in the oven for 5 to 6 minutes. Guys, I'm here to tell you, you're probably going to have some burned crackers if you cook it that long. At least that's been my experience. So let's go into the oven. I'm going to set it for 3 minutes. I'll let you know when I bring it out how long it actually took. I just wanted to show you this caramel is starting to darken, and it's not even been 3 minutes yet. So my advice is 3 minutes. All right, y'all, our molten lava is out of the oven. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to sprinkle this with the chip of your choice. So these are the semi-sweet again. I think with all of the sugar goodness in these treats, it might be easier using the semi-sweet. Might not come off quite as sweet. I would not recommend bittersweet, but I prefer, because I'm not a chocoholic, but I prefer the semi-sweet. They're not nearly as sweet. So I'm gonna let this sit for 5 minutes. Still can't find my spatula that I used my icing thing. And I am going to spread this around and top it with sprinkles. I'll bring you back. All right, I'll look at this beauty. Yum, yum. So you have a lot of options. I have seen variations of this made with the Ritz crackers. I think that'd be a little bit rich because it's already a very rich dessert. I've seen it done with the mini pretzels as well. So sky's the limit. Let me grab here a spoon. And also, if you are concerned about getting your pan clean, because that caramel can really stick, and I'm of course using a regular pan, pardon me, not a non-stick, what you can actually do is as soon as you dump out your caramel, go ahead and put some warm soapy water on it, set it back on your burner. I have a glass top stove, so it holds heat, and just let it soak a little bit. I've already washed my pan, and it came clean as a whistle, and that is just a standard pan without any coating on it to keep it from sticking. So I thought I'd match my kitchen, I guess. I like these blue sprinkles, and I thought they were really pretty. And I mean, sprinkles make everything more festive, right? So here we have it. I'm gonna set this aside to cool, and then we're gonna get into a little more complicated recipe. Not difficult, I have confidence y'all can do it. We are going to try, for the first time ever, to make some almond roca. So I hope you'll stay tuned. You ready for the final recipe? I know this video is a little longer than my normal. Some of you like the long videos, some like short. I personally am a long video sort of girl, because if I'm gonna sit down and watch TV, well, I watch on my TV, obviously. I wanna be entertained for a little bit. So you do need to do a little prep for this almond roca. So let me tell you a little bit about it, because I'm gonna be honest, y'all, never heard of it before. And I wanna give full credit. This recipe came from scratchpantry.com, Becky over at Acre Homestead. I probably watched 10 almond roca videos, and there were 10 different versions of how you make it, but I liked hers. So almond roca is kind of a brand name, so I'm not sure that I should be calling it almond roca, maybe almond caramels. And this is from 1912, so a little bit throwback Thursday on a Saturday, right? It was made by the Brown and Haley Candy Company. It came in a steel tin. It is still made today. It is still distributed in 35 countries. Its little name to fame was the candy that travels, and it was sent overseas with soldiers in World War II so that they could have a treat as well. So I thought, okay, well, it'll be a perfect candy to try. My son is a lover of nuts and cheese. Wonder where he gets that from. If you all know me, those are two of my favorite things. So this is kind of for him. He's not a great big sweet eater, but he'll eat this for sure. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take a 9x13 pan that is oven proof, that is safe, that won't crack when you put something really hot in it. If you don't have a glass or ceramic pan like that, just use a metal baking dish. You want to line it very well. So let me show you how I did mine. So I'll give you a little tip too. If you feel like you're wrestling an unruly toddler when you try to put parchment paper in a baking sheet, spray it first with a little non-stick cooking spray, like, you know, olive oil spray or avocado, and it will set down much, much better. So I actually did it both directions because this is very ooey gooey and sticky. So the next thing you're gonna wanna do, don't get dizzy. Here we go, guys. Around and around we go. Is you want to go ahead and dice up 2 cups of nuts. Now, I used blanched slivered almonds. You could use whole almonds and chop them. You can use the sliced ones, the little thin ones that look, you know, they're like paper thin. I'm going to put that on the top, but I wanted some nut in mine. So these are coarsely chopped, but they're chopped. Now, I will share with y'all, I do plan to taste this. Yes, I do. Since I've never made it before, but it is not a diabetes approved recipe. Okay, we got that out of the way. So in your nice heavy saucepan, you'll notice I've got a candy thermometer. I actually have also an OXO, like an instant read digital. So this is probably from the, it's probably 40 years old. I'm just being honest. Not sure if it still works accurately, so I'm going to use like a double check method. And definitely want your heavy bottom saucepan. So you're gonna go ahead first and you're gonna melt your butter. Now, y'all, like I said, this is not a low sugar or a low fat recipe. It has 4 sticks of butter or a pound of butter. If you buy it in the brick, yeah, you need the whole pound. So we're gonna let that melt first. Then you're gonna need white sugar, brown sugar, water, and light corn syrup. I had to buy this, y'all. That is a GMO product, but we're only using 2 tablespoons, so I figure, yeah, it's Christmas. I don't know of any non-GMO corn product that we can buy today. You need your almonds, you need a little vanilla. We will be topping it with some slivered almonds and some chocolate. And y'all, I was like going along and I'm like, oh no, I used all my chocolate chips. But I found an emergency half bag. And then at Halloween, I was going to make these s'mores things and I never did. So I have Hershey bars. And one of the people on YouTube that I watched used Hershey bars on the top of theirs. So, you know, there's an option for you. So I'm gonna let the butter melt. And it says, once it's melted, add white sugar, brown sugar, corn syrup, water, and then just a dash of salt, like 1/8 of a teaspoon. Then you want to stay right here. You have to stir it constantly, bring it up to a boil. Once it boils, we'll be reducing the heat to medium. So I don't get too far ahead of myself. I will tell you that this is a recipe you don't want to walk away from, right? And the baby's up from his nap. For those of you who don't know, Frankie takes a nap every morning. So when I film, I try to film when he's taking a nap. Otherwise, as you saw in an earlier video, sometimes he cries the whole time. Because he's like, pay attention to me. Mom, I want you to talk to me. Don't talk to the peoples. So at any rate, let me get this butter melted. I'm going to add 1 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 6 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of corn syrup, my dash of salt, and I am using salted butter. So I'm just gonna add a little dash. And once it's kind of boiling, I'll bring you back for some next directions. This is gonna take a little bit. So just relax, turn on some Christmas music, and enjoy the process. Y'all, I just wanted to show you, we're still at a separation of our butter and sugar. So our sugar hasn't fully melted. We're under 225 degrees. Because I know that a glass top stove holds the heat for a long time, and y'all may have a gas stove or whatsoever, I am reluctant to turn it up to high. Some of the videos I watched were very, okay, now you can see it. We've come up to a boil, pretty good. Said that you must reduce your heat to medium then. You must use a wooden spoon. I watched a lot of people who absolutely did not use a candy thermometer. So we're just above 225 and you can see it's really bubbly. So what I heard, you know, I'm not afraid to try any kind of recipe, is that it's going to bubble, 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 and then it's gonna level off and it's not gonna bubble as much. You just wanna be sure you are scraping your bottom, that your thermometer isn't touching the burner, and continue to stir. I will bring you back. We're aiming for 310 degrees. So I do wanna, let's see how accurate we are here. Looks like this says 228, and that is about exactly what my 40-year-old candy thermometer says. Isn't that amazing when something lasts that long? It's the only candy thermometer I ever owned until I bought this OXO one. So I'm going to keep stirring. I'm going to keep standing right here. I'm going to keep flipping hot caramel myself. Do be very careful, guys. This would burn you so badly. And thankfully, Frankie's not underfoot. So I'm going to keep on cooking and keep watching that very carefully. I am not going to walk away. I've been cooking for quite some time. I wanted to show you the consistency, and I'm not going to give you a time because I didn't time it, and everybody's stove is going to be a little different. As you can see, it's gotten thicker, fluffier. It has not darkened significantly in color. You don't want that to. I can't remember if I said this, but you do want to turn your heat down to medium and keep turning it down if it appears like or smells like it's getting too hot. So we're at hardball stage, which is like 265, and we're still heading towards 310. So this does take a bit. So we're going for hard crack. I've checked it multiple times with both thermometers, and yeah, we're coming along here. So this is going to be a lesson in patience, I think. Well, we're just about to hit the 310 mark. So if you see our caramel or nougat, whatever you want to call it, has darkened in color, and you see how the consistency is much different. It's not as fluffy, and this is the point where you've got to really, really watch, because you can take it over the top super fast. So let's double check it with this other thermometer. We were at like 301. I think we're about there. Oh, high heat. Okay, we're gonna call it. Okay, so working quickly, we are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Let's get the thermometer out. Stir that in well. Add our almonds. And you do want to work quickly. From what I watched, this looks like it sets up pretty quickly. So let's get over here. I'll swing you around in just a second, guys. Too many things going at once. Woo! Okay, that probably made you dizzy. Oh, y'all, this smells so good. It smells like I'm in a candy store. I'm gonna get that all mixed in together very, very well, and then go ahead and dump it out. Oh, well, that was fairly simple. And then you want to spread it into your pan, and depending on how thick you want your individual candies can be how far you spread it out. You don't have to use the entire pan. Wow, that sets up like right now, sis. Oh, y'all, this is gonna be a treat for whoever gets it. That's okay. I think my son will like it. All right, we do want to let this set and cool a little bit. And one of the notes in Becky's recipe, which I did not see anywhere else, was there's a lot of butter still on the top. Blot that off so your chocolate adheres better. So let me let this set. It says, you all know that you've been cooking with the recipe when there's caramel on it. Once slightly cooled. Well, that's super informative, isn't it? I'd say you want it to cool just a little bit so we don't scorch our chocolate, but wow, is that ever pretty. So I'm gonna get my pan filled with water and back on the stove so that that hard crack candy isn't impossible to get out. I'll bring you back when we're ready to add the chocolate and the toppings. Candy making day is in the books for 2023. So pleased with how things came out, guys. And I hope that you will maybe give one or two of these recipes a try. So to recap, we have our peppermint bark. Turned out great. I tried cutting it. Did not turn out great. Our fruit and nut and chocolate, orange flavored chocolate bars. Ask me how I know. I only had a little bit, guys. I had to, you know, quality control. Very, very good. This is our finished almond roca. And guys, I did want to tell you, I had maybe a little better than half a pack of the chocolate chips. I think that was a gracious plenty. I did not end up using Hershey. And then this is absolutely gorgeous. This is our Christmas crackers with the little blue and gold and silver sprinkles on top. I think everything turned out as well as possible. So we will be doing a baking day. This was more of a cooking day, I guess, you know, candy's cooking. But these are simple treats, guys. Make cut the recipe down. Make as many or as few as is practical. And you may be wondering why I give so many sweet treats. Well, it is the holidays, it is tradition, but I also do gift some of my home canned goods that are savory and not just all sweet. So, and for those who don't eat sweets or who have a problem with their blood sugar, sometimes I will make them a high protein, high grain type bread and send that along instead. All right, guys, I'm ready for a rest. All the dishes are washed. I still have a lot of ingredients out because there's no sense putting them away and dragging them back out tomorrow to do the next video. So I'm going to leave those set out. As soon as these set up, I will get those packaged up, and I will see you all very soon. So if you do me a big favor, go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. Which do you think would be your favorite of the treats we made? Mine is definitely the fruit and nut version. Very, very good, not overly sweet. I plan to see you all next week with some cookie baking, perhaps some vintage recipes, something a little bit different, I hope. And I'll probably only do maybe 2 to 3 types of cookies, one of which is going to be suitable for people who have blood sugar problems or who have diabetes, so you don't want to miss that. All right, guys, I will see you next week, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.